So, what we're going to do here, this is actually, this helps a lot. If you have here, if you've got a side cutter, cut that deal right there so the chain can fall down. You see what I'm doing there? For storage, yeah. I just take the side cutter and cut him off. I did that for storage. Tell him that one of the guys that watching their stuff really wishes he would have known to use that phone. That is some of the most fascinating outbreaks you got up again last night. Yeah. That's awesome. That's kind of like a Wolf River Quail kind of a thing.
I got paper towels.
Yeah, there we go. That's all we need. That is all we need right there. Okay, yeah. Look at that.
Howdy y'all, Michael here. Today is Saturday, January 29th, 2022. I'm here at Sears Creek Park in the Colony once again, and I'm here with the Lake Area Amateur Radio Club, and we're setting up now for Winter Field Day. It's not quite so cold right now. It was a little bit chilly this morning. It was about 40 degrees, but it's warmed up. It's going to be a beautiful day out here. So let's go check this out together. Come hang out with me. So you probably remember the summer field day that I did with the Denton County Amateur Radio Association, DECARA. And this is kind of an alternative. It's pretty hot down here during the summertime. So somebody started a winter one. This is not quite as a large scale operation, but it's still fun to get your radios out and have a little fun. One of the more important things of ham radio hobby is the food.
And this guy is going to be our backup in case something happens.
Got some coffee about to be percolated here. Already got my cup. And something about percolated coffee kind of reminds me of camping. Dale, what are we having today? Chili. Oh my goodness. That smells wonderful. So Dale has a famous chili here.
Those are infamous.
Infamous chili. And that is our field day flag for the Winter Field Day. That's the official flag for this event. Small flag, smaller event. This is what we're dealing with. Mixed in some Fritos and some onions and some cheese. Put that at the bottom and just pour the chili on top.
Well, the last thing he did online, he took out, you know, when he came in the front door, you know,
I'll mix it all in there. All that goodness. Take a taste. This is Scott, and this is his Go Kit. So tell me about this Go Kit.
So this Go Kit has an ICOM 7100 and a PowerWorks DV750 in it. Well,
so explain what that is, because I have a lot of non-ham radio viewers.
So the ICOM 7100 is an all-band, all-mode HF, VHF, UHF unit that I can use out in the field every time I want. The PowerWorks is a VHF, UHF with cross-band repeater functionality, and the reason I put both radios in the box is so that if I want to just talk on VHF, UHF, or create a crossband repeater for out in the field, then I can do that, but I can switch over to VHF, UHF with the 7100 as well.
Right, and he's thrown a lot of letters out there. So HF is high frequency, VHF is very high, and UHF is ultra high frequency. And just to let you know, so on HF, that's when you're bouncing around the entire world. You can actually talk overseas on the frequencies over here. Now this does VHF, UHF, and what's neat about VHF, it gets distance, but it's more of a local set of frequencies, and UHF is a shorter distance. It doesn't quite go the distance, but it's good for building penetration. So back in the days when police departments were using VHF and UHF, you would find like the highway patrol and people that have long distance to travel would use VHF, but the police officers in the cities would actually have UHF frequencies. So once they go on a call or go in a house or a building, they can still communicate without any trouble. So that kind of explains a little bit about the frequencies. But his setup here, you have a wide variety of things you can do with it. And I see you got a tablet back here. What's the deal with the tablet?
Well, it's not a tablet. So this is a 10.1 inch display. I don't have it turned on right now, but it's connected into a Raspberry Pi 4 that is in turn connected to a SDR radio or software-defined radio.
Right.
That this will provide a PAN adapter or a better graphical display than what the actual HF radio will provide. And then there's also a switch that when I transmit on the HF radio on the 7100, it will turn off the connection to the software-defined radio so I don't fry it from an electronic standpoint.
Right.
We don't want smoke coming out.
And what's nice about software-defined radios, what she has here is they will, they're very frequency agile, but they're very, but there's no knobs and tuners and all that. It's all, you have to pretty much have a computer to run some of those. So there are some SDR radios that are very expensive that you can run on their own, but they're basically a computer with the SDR radio built into them.
Yes.
I believe that is the, what's that brand?
RTL
Flex.
SDR,
Flex.
And Flex is
Flex.
an SDR.
Flex is a big one.
The ICOM 7300, which is another all-band, well, not all-band, it's all HF. Well, it's 6 meters to 80 meters, which I know that may confuse some people, but it's the bands you communicate on. But the ICOM 7300 is actually an SDR as well. So software-defined radios are taking us into the computer age and the digital age, where a lot of the components are on microchips instead of being managed through full-blown resistors and capacitors and electronic components like older radios use, and no tubes, of course.
Right. And you have to excuse us. We get really technical on talking. So, but I mean, this is one of those hobbies. When you get into it, you just got to get into it not knowing anything. And as you work into it, you start learning the jargon, start learning a lot of things here. So I recommend that everybody get at least a technician class license here in the States. It's different classes. I think it's called a foundation class in UK. And
Hamstudy.org is probably the best website I've found. And what's interesting about that is the gentleman who runs hamstudy.org is the gentleman who produces the signal sticks or antennas that go on some of our HTs. So this antenna is what they call a signal stick. It's sold by Signal Stuff, and it's what provides money for hamstudy.org. But as Michael said, if people would get their technician license, not only could you participate in weather spotting, but you could also transmit if there's emergencies and warn people. And it's not that complicated. It's just a matter of getting on the air.
So there's going to be a million stories here, and I'm going to ask you, why did you get into ham radio?
I got into ham radio because of my experience when I was in the military, and I was operated communications in the military, tactical communications, though most of the time I was on a radio listening, not transmitting. And just years later, I finally decided to get back into it, and it really interested me because I get involved in ARES, I get involved in CERT, and
which are both volunteer organizations that help.
And the camaraderie. Plus, I like to learn about this stuff.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. Thanks, Scott.
You bet.
So this is my friend John here. John, I met doing ham radio stuff, and John was watching one of our demonstrations one time in ham radio, and there was a Boy Scout troop. So I thought he was originally with the Boy Scout troop. But, so John met us, learned about the class. He took our class, got licensed. And what are you doing now with ham radio?
Right now, mostly I like to do what's called contesting, which is seeing how many people you can connect to. a short amount of time. So the cool thing about that is there's usually a lot of ham radio operators from all over, like either all over the country or all over the world. So it's kind of interesting just to see how far you can reach out.
And what's some of the furthest places you contacted from Dallas, Texas area? Dallas, Fort Worth.
I've contacted Argentina, Russia, places like that off of an antenna I built with speaker wire in my house. So it's hanging off a rafter in the playroom upstairs.
Right.
And with that, yeah, I've contacted all over South America, Russia, Europe.
And John's actually in extra class now, and he started with knowing nothing, just kind of interested. We had an event at a children's, like a STEM place for children, and he started from there. And he's also helping in Winlink, and you have an event called Winlink Wednesday. So what is Winlink Wednesday?
Well, Winlink is essentially it's email through amateur radio. And Winlink Wednesday is just an opportunity to use those that software and the skills to send in emails, because it is a little bit different than the way email is today. But if you're, during the winter time last year when the power went out, how do you communicate? So some people, communicate over the radio with voice, some send emails. So that's the practice. Winlink Wednesday is a practice to do that.
So how do you get involved in Winlink Wednesday?
It's very easy. You just send me a Winlink message to my call sign, KF5BO, and I'll put you on the list.
So he's actually got people from around the world participating in this. Not a huge amount, but 100 to 200 check-ins. Is that about right?
About 180.
180 check-ins every week. And what's nice about it is you can check in from midnight to midnight on Wednesday. And so his call sign again is KF5BO. That's Kilo Foxtrot 5 Victor Oscar. And to send him a Winlink message, he'll get you in the group, and he'll get you participating every Wednesday. So what kind of questions do you come up with, and what do y'all communicate? You're doing this email type system.
It varies. Usually I'll try to come up with some sort of question of the week to keep it somewhat interesting. It can vary between, if there's a holiday coming up, it might be a trivia question about the holiday. If there's a ham radio event coming up, it might be a question about the ham radio event. It just really depends on what I come up with.
Or what your favorite cookie is.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll see if there's a random holiday. I'll do a Google search on holiday for the Wednesday or the week or whatever. And there's some pretty obscure holidays like National Cookie Day. So the question may be, what's your favorite cookie? So usually what I'll do at the end of the net, on questions such as that, I'll tally the results and say, okay, 75% of the people said chocolate chip, 25% said oatmeal raisin, or whatever the results may be.
And I actually had asked him to ask a question. He did. Why did you get in ham radio? And there was no steady consensus amongst anybody, because there's so many. There's so many different things you can do with ham radio, and whether you're into volunteering for bike rides or storm spotting / I think you hear is chasing, or even helping during disasters, or just talking to people around the world, learning about the way things are around the world. That's what I find fascinating. You talk to somebody, and I remember talking to a guy in France, and I didn't realize he was in France. I was like, oh, he kept missing the first part of his call sign. No, he wasn't missing that. He was in a different country.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Eastern Massachusetts. I got it down to Leeds.
Romeo Kilo. Used to. QSL, copy 2 Oscar, November Tango, X-ray.
There you go. Good job, boss.
Yep. 73. Now
I think we got so far. We're a lot. We're not completely synced, I don't think, so.
No, we're not.
I think we're, that's it right there. We're not getting all of the CWs, I don't think.
They're not getting ours either. They thought we only had 6, and he came over and said we have 40.
Kilo 5, Lima, Romeo, Kilo. Lima, Romeo, Kilo.
Kilo 5 Lima Romeo Kilo. This is Kilo 4 Yankee Oscar QSL.
QSL, copy 20 North Texas.
Roger, 20 North Texas, please copy 1 Hotel Utah QSL.
QSL 73.
73, good luck today.
Good job, brother.
There was one that was 50 alpha one time. It was amazing. 50 stations all on generator.
There's a documentary about that.
Yes, it's on YouTube, yeah.
The last 50 alpha or something like that.
It was insane. And it was lined up, and they were using computers with CRTs, if that tells you anything.
Like a Northeastern club, wasn't it? Is that one alpha?
Didn't some guy have his own shack up in Montana where he's got 46 transmitters set up or something?
There's all
some guy out in the West.
This guy is Whiskey something, Whiskey won something. He's that big contester. He's the one that led that whole 50 station thing.
Look up KE5EE.
Oh yeah, in Florida. What do you got, Randall? Where are we going?
That was the picture I posted of all the antennas.
Oh.
We were talking about hubs antennas.
If you want to go to the bottom, what you can do is you can go here, and then you 14, and then you go enter.
That's definitely digital.
4150. Oh, make sure I change the mode. Sorry about that. There you go.
No, you're on VHF.
Oh, wait a minute, doggone it. I'm sorry.
Like, what are you trying to do?
Maybe we should try 15 meters. I'm just doing it wrong here. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Maybe 17 is the band. You don't.
Station 73, good luck. Whiskey 4 Charlie Victor Yankee. QRS.
Look at this. This is Victor Yankee. Get him. You get him.
You want to find a whiskey X-ray picture? Please copy for Oscar, Georgia.
Whiskey 4 Charlie Yankee. You're right.
Trying to get better copy.
Thank you for the 1 Oscar, North Texas. Good luck.
Hammer him.
4 Charlie Victor Yankee. QRS.
Kilo 5, Lima, Romeo, Kilo.
Please copy for Oscar, Georgia. Thank you for the 1 Hotel South Texas.
Get him.
Good luck. Whiskey 4 Charlie Victor Yankee.
There you go.
Kilo 5, Lima, Romeo, Kilo.
Station Romeo Kilo again.
Kilo 5, Lima, Romeo, Kilo.
Jump up to 223.
Just checking out this 204080 deal. 3 wires going down here. That's pretty neat. So I decided to take a little bit of time here with my friend Kevin. And we decided to take another trail here that I didn't see last time I was out here at Street Creek Park. This one's long, and it's got plenty of signage all around there, and it's much better developed. So when you're by the restrooms, just head straight rather than go left to the old, more undeveloped trail that's closer to the lake. This one's closer to the houses, but it's quite nice. It's wide, and you're not climbing over stuff. So if you enjoy running cross country, this is a perfect trail for it. Things to discover around here. And we're coming at the end of this little trail here. And it definitely is the end of the trail. At this point you got the driving range. And there's where they drive all the golf balls down. Irons only, so they're just out here to warm up a little bit. Listen to the fountain of somebody's pool in their backyard here. People playing golf. Nice day for golf. Never played a game myself, other than putt-putt. Let's head back in so we can play on the radio again.
Roger, copy that. Please copy 1. Alpha, QSL.
I copy 1 Hotel Georgia. Thanks for the contact. 70.
If you want to know what a pileup looks like or sounds like, this is a pileup.
Kilo QRZ.
No, was there one Tom? Tom's invisible.
Okay, the Whiskey 4 station.
And then that compass. Okay. There we go. Yeah, okay.
Whiskey 4 Sugar Victor India, you're 5'9". Copy our class or our section. Yeah, the section is 2 Oscar and the class is 2 Oscar and the section is North Texas.
Roger, copy. Interested in section 2 copy. 3 Oscar, South Florida. 3 Oscar, South Florida. Over.
I guess that's SFL, right, for South Florida?
Yeah, 3 Oscar, South Florida. 3 Oscar, South Florida.
I copy the 3 Oscar South Florida. Thanks for the contact, 73s. This is Kilo 5.
You got 12 minutes, which is good. So you got plenty of time.
Well, that was the winter field day for the Lake Area Amateur Radio Club here in the Colony, Texas. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun doing it. But for now, y'all take care, be safe, bye. Second time I've done that. Not proud of it.